All right, it looks like we are live. I just wanted to make sure we're all set. Welcome everyone who is here so far. We're just getting started with our social media managers one-on-one workshop for securing your first clients as social media managers. And I am so excited to be jumping into this webinar with you guys today. This is so cool for me because, believe it or not, this is actually my first time hosting a live webinar on my own. It's my first time actually being the host. So I'm super pumped that you all are joining. And I'm really just hoping that all this information that I'm sharing with you guys is going to be valuable to you. So let's see if I can see how many people have joined so far. Bear with me, you guys. And also, if I can have somebody, oh, cool, people are typing in the chat. Hello, have your notes ready? Awesome. Okay, so now that I know that the chat is working and now that I know people are coming in, welcome you guys. I'm so happy to see you here. And I'm just really grateful that you all could set aside some time this evening to jump on this workshop so that we can learn together. I know how busy life can be for all of us in all of our different roles and work and school or whatever else you have going on. So I'm just really thankful that you guys would set aside the time this Friday to make this deposit and invest in your future by joining so that we can learn how to start your social media businesses successfully. If you are here, let me know where you're joining from. Type it in the chat. Let's see. I hope there's no delay. Hi, Felicia. Where are you guys joining from? Okay, let's see. Let me see if I have to refresh it. You'll have to be interactive with me and bear with me. I don't have a moderator, so I'm going to be trying to check the chat as we go. We are going to be saving Q&A till the very end, but I do want to just make sure that I'm saying if anybody is chiming in. Felicia's here from Los Angeles. Somebody's here from San Diego. Hey guys, oh my God, we got the West Coast. Cool, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Before we dive into the training materials for today, I do want to give you guys a little bit of a game plan just so we know what to expect going into our time together this evening, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So let's see. We're going to start with a little introduction. So I'm going to give y'all just a little bit of introduction about me and my credentials, my background, how my business got started, all of that, the whole 9 yards, and also how I started my group coaching program as well, how all that came to be, just so you can kind of get an idea of who I am. And then we're going to jump into about 20 to 30 minutes of training. We're going to be going over all that training material for the day, which includes where you can find clients. We're going to be going over tips for landing sales calls. And then I'm also going to be breaking down what to say to potential clients in discovery calls to increase your chances of success. And then we're also going to be going over pricing and how to set your rates. All right. And then after that, we're going to have a little commercial break. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little more information about a sneak peek into my group coaching program. And that's going to be kicking off this May, along with an exclusive invite for just this weekend. So I would love to have you all be a part of it. It's a 90-day program, and it's going to give you all the tools that you need to be able to succeed as a social media freelancer in 2023. And I'm going to be walking you through all of that today. And then at the end, I'm going to open it up for some Q&A, so you guys will have a chance to ask any questions that you might have from today's training materials or about the group coaching program, whatever. All right. So that is our game plan for today. Let's start off with a quick little introduction. So if you don't already know, my name is Carissa. I founded Vine and Branch Media in 2020. I was 20 years old at the time, and this is when I was working towards my bachelor's degree in marketing and entrepreneurship from Nova Southeastern University, which is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I lived there for about 5 years, and then I just moved to Dallas, Texas last month. And so my life completely transformed during COVID while I was embarking on this entrepreneurship journey. I was trying to graduate from college at the same time, so it was kind of crazy, but right after my graduation, I had hired a business coach, and I spent 9 months with her completing some additional training for specifically social media marketing agencies. And that's what really helped me gain the confidence to start running my own business at such a young age. So that's kind of where my business started to propel when I was a part of that program. And then I started hitting 5-figure months within my first year of operating my business as a social media manager. I was generating 6 figures annually at the end of my first full year in business, which was absolutely insane and it blew my mind. But that was my goal going into the social media coaching program. I went in with the goal of wanting to start hitting 10K months, and that's exactly what I started doing. And then I started offering group coaching for social media managers just this year. And I started doing one-on-one coaching a little bit before that, but I just know how hard it is to start a business from the ground up because I did it. And it's just hard when you feel like nobody in your circle or nobody that you really know has done it before. And you kind of just feel like outsider, you might feel a little bit isolated and alone in this journey. So I know how hard it is. So that's why I want to just be able to take the best of my knowledge and what I've learned through this journey of building my own business and use that to educate and empower other people who want to pursue social media freelancing full time and people who are committed to seeing results just like you, because you're here today. And so I'm so thankful that you guys are joining and making this investment, and you guys are doing this for yourself and for your future. So I'm just really happy that, you all were able to join. So that's pretty much what my coaching program is all about and why I kind of started all of this. Just because if we're being honest, I know, nobody has time for something that doesn't work. And the last thing I want to do is waste people's time. And so that's why I have a lot of content to cover today, and I promise I'm going to get to it. And I want to go over as much of that as I possibly can in a short amount of time, because I don't want to waste your time this evening. But I definitely know how valuable and precious our time is. I'm a soon-to-be mom, and I run this business full-time, so I totally understand. But this is coming from somebody that's been through it all. I started my business from scratch, and all this information is stuff that I wish I would have known about before I got started with my business, because it would have saved me so much time and energy and a lot of work. So believe me, there's definitely a learning curve to all of this. But I do want to make this process as seamless as possible for you guys who are here so that you can start landing clients and make social media management your full-time stream of income eventually. So since you are here in this workshop, you're going to be able to go into your discovery calls more prepared, and you're going to be more knowledgeable. You're going to be feeling more empowered as a business owner. And so I'm just so excited that you guys are taking advantage of this. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our first order of business, which is where to find clients. I know that's why you all are here today, probably, because one of the most frequently asked questions that people ask me all the time on TikTok and YouTube especially is, how do you find clients? And so that's what I want to cover today, just because there are a few different ways that I found to be most effective when looking for clients. There are millions of ways to find clients, but these are just a few of the ones that have worked for me personally in my business. So let's start with the first one, which is content marketing. For me, content marketing looks a little bit different than it might look for other people, because it's not one size fits all. It might look different for everyone depending on your skill set. But for me, it mainly looks like short form video content creation on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. For other people, it might look like YouTube videos. It might look like blogging. Yes, people still do blogs, and they do all the search engine optimization ranking through their blogs using keywords and whatnot. So that might be the way that you want to go. It kind of just depends on what you're into and what you enjoy and what you're good at. But I might be a little biased just because I have had more success with Reels and with TikToks. Over the past 2 years, I've probably gotten 80% of my leads from TikTok alone. And I didn't even start posting consistently on TikTok until this year, maybe this February. So that's definitely been a big hitter for me. TikTok is great, and I'm always going to be an advocate. But if video's not your thing, then that's fine too, because everyone has their own strengths. Personally, I already knew how to create video content because I had some experience with making YouTube videos in the past. And so short form videos, once that became like the new thing, that kind of came naturally to me already. And I'm somewhat comfortable in front of the camera. So I was totally fine when it came to putting my face on camera for Reels and TikToks. But for other people, maybe you're a strong writer, so maybe you have that blog, maybe you're a great communicator, so maybe you're, mainly a podcast creator, I don't know. But like I said, it looks different for everyone. There's so many different ways you can go into approaching content marketing. Keep in mind that the content that you share does not have to be directed towards potential clients. So for me, what I mean by that, the majority of the content that I share on my personal social media is not directed towards the people that I'm trying to work with as clients. A lot of the content that I share is more so directed towards my peers, other people in my industry, not so much people who I'm trying to get to hire me, like e-commerce brands or tech startups. So, but I do know that when people, like potential clients, come across my content and they see that I'm passionate about my career, they see that I'm good at what I do, and they can tell that like I know what I'm doing, that kind of tends to be a big reason why they might book discovery calls. And so I think that's probably one of the bigger reasons that I get a lot of leads from TikTok, even though I'm not making content for business owners. I'm making content for like just content that I enjoy making and content about social media marketing and for other creators, but they will still see it. But all that's just to say, just be strategic about the kind of content that you want to share and be considerate about who you're making that content for, and who you're trying to reach and who you want to add value to. So for example, when my social media agency is taking new clients, I will ask my team to focus on creating content more geared towards what business owners are searching for, because I'm really trying to target business owners that are in our niche. So you want to think about what they're searching for, what questions they're asking, what pain points they're having, and then make content that's going to help solve their problems. Also, I do have a PDF download thing that I sent to you guys. You should all have it in your email if you didn't already download it. It has all the notes that you're going to need for today. Everything you're seeing on the screen, for the most part, is going to be in that PDF. So go ahead and download that if you haven't already, and you can also take notes there as well. All right, and the next one is Upwork. So some of my first long-term freelance clients have actually been from Upwork. Upwork is basically a platform for freelancers who are looking for contracted work. If you don't know what Upwork is, I would compare it to something like LinkedIn or maybe like Fiverr or Indeed, one of those job searching platforms. It's not a majority of my business, and it's not the main way that I look for clients right now. And I wouldn't make Upwork your only lead generation strategy, but it definitely is a great starting point. And it's also a good idea to have a profile just set up at least, because you never know when you're going to get an invitation. So if you kind of optimize your profile as a social media freelancer, you might get invitations from people who are seeking social media marketing. So you never know. I still use Upwork to this day. I'm going to quickly check the chat and see if we have any questions or anything. Hello, Texas, Pennsylvania. Oh no, someone says they can't see or hear anything. Okay, cool. I think we're all good. Create for your peers, not for your future clients. I wouldn't say that necessarily. Yeah, you should create for your peers and people who are other people who are creators, because you want to add value. It kind of just depends on what your goals are. So for me, a big part of my business is marketing towards my peers and marketing towards other content creators and other social media managers, basically what we're doing here right now today. And so it just kind of depends on what your goals are. But at the same time, if your goal is to book clients for social media marketing, it's still good to add value to people that are in your industry and create content for your peers. And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit, but let's get back to Upwork. It's really great for beginners. Upwork's platform is super beginner friendly. It's kind of like a done for you process. You don't have to draft up contracts or figure out invoicing if you don't want to, because there's a process built into the platform. So personally, I don't really like that about Upwork, and I try to kind of take things off the platform and do things with my own onboarding process because I don't want to follow Upwork's rules. I do break the rules a little bit with Upwork, and I'm probably going to share with you guys more in depth about what my little cheat code process looks like another time, maybe if you are part of the program later on, but we have a lot of other stuff to cover today. But there's definitely a way around the fees that you have to pay to Upwork. Like Upwork takes a 20% service fee, I believe, out of all your earnings. So we don't want that. But there is a way around it. Obviously, as you get more experienced in regards to your business processes and your workflows, you're going to want to do things kind of with your own structure. So I do have a training kind of dedicated to client onboarding in my program, and I'm going to show you how to customize a seamless onboarding process in your own business. I'm going to provide templates and all of that. But like I mentioned before, it's a great place to start. Upwork is great. I still use it. I used it today. And I strongly recommend at least having a profile set up and exploring that. And the next one, great place to find clients is by using lead magnets. If you don't know what a lead magnet is, it's essentially a freebie or a gift with the goal of adding value to your audience and to your potential customers in order to get them in the front door of your business. A lot of businesses use lead magnets as a way to build their email list so that they can promote future offers, so that they can try to get people's business down the line. So for example, I created a workshop in a workbook for business owners who are seeking clarity with their social media strategy. And that little PDF workbook kind of serves as a tool to help them map out and visualize their approach for social media marketing. So that's like a way to help your potential clients and kind of aid them a little bit with their social media strategy without actually giving them a service. And, they get it for free. It used to be a freebie. I sell it for $20 now, but you get the point. It's the same thing. Freebies and downloadables and lead magnets, it can look however you want. There's so many different ways you can do it. But at the end of the day, what this does is it makes you look more appealing than your competitors just because you're giving them free value right off the bat, right? So you immediately look more knowledgeable than the others because they didn't provide any free value up front. So they don't even have to contact you. They can kind of be poking around your social media or browsing your website and then see, oh, they're offering this free resource. Like, cool. So they clearly know what they're talking about. That's going to make people want to work with you. Let's see, some other examples of a lead magnet might be an ebook. Maybe it's a downloadable checklist, or maybe some sort of resource or guide. It could be even a social media audit or a consultation, something like that. It's totally up to you, however you want to do your freebies and gifts. Also, you want to be strategic and think about what your ideal clients want to see. So if your ideal client is a wellness brand, for example, maybe you want to offer a guide about 30 viral short form video ideas for your wellness brand, right? And the idea is you're giving them a little teaser of the value that you're going to provide in your service if you guys end up working together down the line. And you're showing them that they probably need a little bit of your expertise in order for their social media strategy to actually work. So you're, giving them a little bit of help in their business. You're giving them some value, but, they're probably going to need your help implementing it down the line, especially if they're a busy business owner. So doesn't hurt to offer free stuff every once in a while. Lead magnets are awesome. And another way that I've found success with getting clients has been through networking and speaking gigs. And this one might sound a little bit scary at first, but it can be very simple. It could be as simple as an IG live. It could be like just a podcast feature with someone. So it's a lot easier than you might think to get speaking gigs right now because there are so many virtual opportunities nowadays. I've also been offered speaking engagements on Upwork. So that's another great reason to have Upwork. And there's also, it's just good to capitalize on your content marketing, just like we said earlier, because you never know when somebody from your network might reach out and have an opportunity for you. So it's great to just put yourself out there on social media because you never know what opportunities might come to you. Again, you want to think about who your ideal clients are. I recently did a speaking gig through Bank of America, and I was speaking to a cohort of entrepreneurs who are all people of color. They're all in the fintech industry. So it was a bunch of like credit unions and tech startups. And so in this case, I was really glad to do this speaking engagement because it put me directly in front of a bunch of potential long-term retainer clients. So even if they weren't, paying me a whole ton of money, if they didn't have a huge budget for the speaking engagement, it's still really beneficial. And it's a great use of your time because you're putting yourself in front of people who are great ideal clients for you. So you want to just surround yourself with business owners who are in your niche. And you want to put yourself in environments where you're viewed as sort of the social media marketing expert, especially if you want to work with like beauty brands. I would recommend going to like beauty events or stuff like BeautyCon, even if it's just to network and meet people in the industry. When I first started my social media agency, I used to hop on Instagram every Friday evening with my business partner at the time and a guest speaker. And that was usually just somebody in my network who didn't mind like joining for free just to give some free tips to our different audiences. And so that's what we did every week. We called them Friday at 5 IG Lives. I think that's a great idea and that's a great way to put yourself out there. And this also like does a really great job of increasing your exposure to other people's audiences. So, for example, I have a friend named Ashley and she's a tax expert and she does like taxes and accounting. And the majority of people in her business the majority of people in her audience are business owners. So that's just a great way to put ourselves in front of, people who could be potential clients. And it's a great way to just put yourself on their radar because they're like, oh, there's somebody in Ashley's network that is a social media manager and I need a social media manager. So that's just another great way to find potential clients. Networking, putting yourself out there. So as a recap, we have content marketing, we have Upwork, lead magnets, and speaking gigs. So those are 4 great ways to find clients. I'm also going to be going over way more lead generation strategies with the people who end up being a part of the program this spring. So if you haven't already signed up, there is still time to do that this evening and this weekend, and we'll go over that later because like I said, I do have an exclusive invite for you guys. All right. Next, we have some tips for landing sales calls. What this all boils down to at the end of the day is just building trust. And the first one is add value. And what adding value does is it builds trust with your audience. So if you want to convert your prospects into clients, trust is definitely the key to do that. And a great way to add value is through educational content. So like we talked about earlier with content marketing, when you're thinking about your content marketing strategy, definitely you want educational content to be a big piece of that. Another thing besides educational content, you want to humanize your brand because people want to buy from people because people connect with people. And so you should never be afraid to show your face on your Instagram stories, on your social media posts, on your reels, and show your personality because people want to see you. Like people want to get to know who you are because people buy from people. So that's one way to add value. Another great way to build trust within your audience and with potential clients is to position yourself as an industry expert. And what I mean by this is you want to be like the go-to person in your industry that people think about when they think about social media marketing. And the way to position yourself this way is just by leading by example and showing up consistently so that your audience can see what your work ethic looks like, and they can also see your skill set in action as a content creator, as a social media manager. And so the way you show up for your own business is going to set the standard for the way you're going to show up for your potential clients. So you want to position yourself as an industry authority, lead by example, show up consistently, show up for your own brand so people can see what you're made of. All right, and then the next one is engagement. We want to build genuine connections with our audience, and this is how we turn cold leads into warm leads. So when we're interacting with people on social media, we want to make sure we are responding to all of our comments, responding to all of our DMs. You never know who someone may refer to your business. So even if someone doesn't look like a potential client to you, there's still so much value in building connections and engaging with people and building your network and actually like having real connections with people. So make it authentic, make it real. Because the more you connect with your audience and keep it real, that's how you're going to draw people in who share your values, and that's how you build trust. So engagement is super important. Don't just post and ghost. You need to be engaging on your platforms too. And then the next one is show proof. So you want to share case studies, you want to share results, you want to share testimonials from former or current projects and clients. People, they want to see what results you've gotten for other people in the past. Even if they don't ask, like that's kind of like a really big hook when people see what results you've been able to get for others. I do have resources available for getting all these things together, like case studies, testimonials, getting your portfolio together. I have templates for all of that in my program, but it doesn't have to be fancy. Like building your portfolio doesn't have to be hard, and you don't have to have a ton of experience. Just use what you have, use whatever experience you do have. All right. Moving on, we're going to talk about some discovery call tips. So a discovery call is pretty much just your sales call. I call it discovery call. Other people might call it consultation. People call it different things. Clarity call. Let's see, my chat is disconnected. That's what I'm doing now. Love that. Portfolio. Yes, I like how it shows you're passionate about what you do to future clients when they come across. Absolutely awesome. Cool. All right, pre-screening before the call. So you want to go into your discovery calls well prepared, and it's really important to have a list of pre-qualifying questions so that you can vet your clients and kind of screen them before you decide you even want to meet with them, because we don't want to waste our time. So we have a list of screening questions here, or not questions, but like items that you want to, information that you want to gather before you even meet with your client, to see if they're a good fit or to see if there's someone you even want to work with. Because one thing we all should know is that not all money is good money. And if you don't want to work with somebody, you don't have to work with them. So before I get into, well, I guess you guys already have this list of everything that you should be gathering before the call. But when I am getting information from my clients before I even speak to them, I like to have them fill out a form. And when I get a lead, I send them an email. It's usually an automated email that just says, hello, thank you for reaching out. I'm so excited to learn more about your business as well as your goals for using social media marketing. Quickly before we start, let's schedule a chat so that I can determine how we might be able to help you. And then I send them the link to book their complimentary call. I like to tell them, before we get started, I want to make sure that we're a good fit, kind of reiterate that you want to make sure that you guys are a match and that you're really going to actually be able to help them before you decide to start working together. Because I think it's important to meet the person and kind of have a conversation with them face to face before you make that decision, because working with someone long-term is a big commitment. And then just say I'm looking forward to connecting, and then whatever your signature is. So the information that I like to include in that form is First of all, name, obviously, contact information. You want to get their website. You want to get whatever social media handles they have. I like to ask, how long have you been in business? What is your goal for social media marketing? What is your annual revenue? The reason I ask this question, a lot of people put not applicable or they just don't want to answer, which is fine, but I also think it's still important to know and talk about in your call, because you need to know like if you're actually helping people get towards their goals in business, and you want to be able to like help people get a return on their investment as their marketing person. And I feel like businesses should probably be investing a lot of money into their marketing because that's how they make money. And so I think it's standard for businesses to be investing like 30% of their revenue towards marketing. So it makes sense. It's also kind of a better way, like a good way to get a grasp on what their budget looks like. So you should ask them what their annual revenue is, ask them what their budget is. A lot of people don't know, but you can kind of help them figure that out. We're going to talk about setting your rates a little bit later. You want to ask, how did you find us? This is something that I always forget to ask in calls. So it's good to have that in your form. And then, why do you think we're a good fit for you? And I have the resources to invest in my business, yes or no? Because you would be surprised how many people book a call with you and sit there and talk to you for 30 minutes and then tell you that their budget is $0. Like, it's kind of insane. So I learned all this the hard way. Hopefully you guys take this and actually implement it so you don't have to go through all that, because it can be stressful. So that's all the stuff you want to get out of the way before you even decide if you want to talk to the person or not. And then from there, you can decide if you want to book a call with them. All right, next we have the questions that we want to ask in the discovery call. And this is what's going to help you maximize your time with the person that you're talking to, so that you know exactly how you want to move forward, and so you don't leave the meeting thinking, what did we just talk about? Because that happens a lot too. And sometimes people take a while to respond to you, and then by the time you circle back with them, it's been weeks since you initially spoke and you forgot everything you said in this discovery call. So this is just good information to have. These are good notes to take while you're in the meeting. So the first question, let me move my thing. The first question is, where did you find us? That was already in the form. So if they already told you that, obviously you don't need to ask that twice. But you also want to ask them what's going on in your business right now. Also make this conversational. So don't like act like you're reading off a script when you're in a meeting with someone. Like, let the conversation flow. It doesn't have to be in this order, but this is just it's kind of like more like a checklist of what you want to make sure to cover in the discovery call. So what's going on in your business right now? What are your goals for social media marketing? Have you tried anything to reach these goals before? I like to ask them if they've had a social media manager or a social media agency in the past that they've worked with, and what their experience was. Just so that I can try to appeal to their pain points and their struggles when I'm coming up with their proposal and trying to make a case for why they should work with us. So ask them what their experience was with any social media agencies in the past, any social media freelancers in the past that tried to help them. Ask them what their timeline is. You want to make sure you're on the same page in regards to timeline expectations, because I've had so many situations happen where people don't read the contract and they don't realize we're on a 6-month retainer, or they don't realize we're on a 3-month retainer, and they think we're just working month to month. And when that's like, we talked about something different. But anyway, you want to make sure people know what's in their contract and they know how long you expect to work together, how long you want to work together, and you just want to be on the same page with them. So that's going to save you a whole lot of headaches. And you also want to ask, what is your monthly budget? You also want to communicate the value of what you offer. We're going to talk a lot more about value-based pricing in the program, and how to communicate that value, but we'll go over that briefly when we talk about pricing right now. Just another note, when you are in these meetings with your client, with your potential client, it's better to explain your pricing over a call, like while you're in the meeting face to face. It's just so much better than sending your packages or your rates in an email, in my personal opinion, because you have the person right there, you have their attention. Also, you're able to explain it to them and answer any questions that they might have right there, instead of them seeing their email and then seeing your rates and then running away because they get nervous. So you want to talk about it when you're in the call and when you have a chance to actually break down each deliverable to them and explain the value of what you're offering. So that's another tip. Let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, when you're explaining the value of your offer and explaining the value that they're going to get from your service, you really want to appeal to their desires and pain points in this meeting. So you have to get really good at figuring out, and you can do this research before your discovery calls too, when you're poking around on their social medias and their website and figuring out what their company is all about. But also when they fill out your form, they're telling you like why they're looking for a social media manager and what their goals are. You want to appeal to their pain points. So if they tell you that they're just too busy and they don't have time for this and they don't have time to come up with a strategy and implement it and create content and do engagement and actually find something that works, then you really want to reiterate that you're going to be saving them so much time, and just appeal to whatever their specific pain points are. And that way they see the value in what you're offering. All right. Now you know what to say in your discovery calls. Now we're going to talk about how to set your rates. This is like my second most asked question ever. You guys have no idea how many DMs I get with people asking me how to do pricing. People send me emails all the time like, how do you figure out how much to charge? Like, somebody wants to work with me, but I just don't know how much to charge. I'm going to be teaching you all about how to do that in our program, but I'm going to briefly go over it today. So there's 3 steps. But I also think that this is just like a really important topic that social media agencies and social media managers talk about. And I think it's kind of unfortunate that people don't really talk about it so much, because I wish I would have known this in the beginning. So also, the way you figure out your prices is going to depend on the services that you offer and the roles you're fulfilling for your clients. Not every social media manager is the same. Not every social media agency is the same. Not everyone specializes in the same services, and you don't have to offer everything. It's kind of just all up to you what you want to offer and how you want to do it. So your pricing is going to vary. Like not every social media person's pricing is going to look the same. It's just not how it is. There are so many different types of services you can offer: social media management, just content creation without the social media management, like UGC, advertising and managing paid ads, all that. So it really varies, and your prices are going to vary. So another thing that I like to tell my students all the time is that you don't have to offer everything. If you join my program, you're going to learn really quickly. I do not recommend that. It's going to make you burn out so quickly. So you want to pick out what you will offer based off of your strengths and based off of what you want to do and what you enjoy doing. And then you can also delegate in your business, and you can also outsource as needed, but you only have to offer what you want to offer and the things that you're good at doing, because you want to set your clients up for success. All right. First step in setting your rates is creating a revenue goal. You want to decide how much you need to earn annually or monthly to reach your goals. And the reason I say need and I don't say want is because you have to factor in what your business expenses are going to look like in the end as well. So there is an amount that you need to make. You have to make sure you're covering all your expenses in business. So maybe eventually you're going to hire some team members. You have to consider whatever softwares and tools you're paying for on a monthly basis. You definitely need to consider taxes, because you don't want to wait to the end to think about taxes. It's going to bite you in the butt. So think about how much money you need to make. The point of starting a business is to gain financial freedom and to enjoy your life more. And so you want to set a goal that's attainable, but also set a goal that's going to put you in a better position than where you currently are. So create a revenue goal, figure out how much money you need to make, how much money you want to make. The The next thing is deciding how many clients you can realistically serve on a monthly basis. So you want to figure out what your bandwidth looks like. Figuring this out does take a little bit of time and experience. But one way to do this, if you don't already have clients, is just by practicing with managing your own socials, or maybe just use your first couple of clients to try to get a good gauge on what your capacity looks like as a freelancer. My capacity when I first started my business looks a whole lot different than it does now because life changes, and I was in college at the time. And so just situations change. And everyone's capacity looks different. So figure out your capacity and how many clients you can realistically serve. It also kind of just depends on your workflow, how you work, what your efficiency looks like. So it might take some time to determine that. But like for example, maybe it takes me X amount of hours to plan and create and schedule 1 week's worth of Instagram posts for one account. And this is just Instagram, just one platform. Let's say it takes me 7 hours to do that. You want to do the math and then compare that with how much you ideally want to be working each week. So say it takes me 7 hours to do that for one client, for one account, for one social media platform. And that's just creating and scheduling content. That's not like any additional like add-ons or services that you might be offering, like engagement or like analytics tracking or whatever else you're including in your packages. So you want to factor all that in, but let's just keep it simple for the purpose of doing this. You want to compare that with ideally how much you want to be working each week. So maybe you're busy, maybe you have another job, say you only want to invest like maybe 15 hours a week into this. So you may only want to take on 2 clients to begin with, or whatever, just depending on how many hours you have. So just figure out what that looks like for you, because everyone is different. Personally, if I were working as a freelancer right now with no team members, no help at all, and also just like in the stage of life that I'm currently in, I could probably realistically handle maybe 3 to 4 clients at a time, just depending on what's in their packages. And it also just, like I said, depends on your workflow and your efficiency, but that's just me. And I haven't even had my baby yet, so we'll just see what life looks like after that. But it just depends on the person. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is do the math. I like to recommend to my coaching students that they do the hourly rate method and decide how much their time is worth in their personal opinion. A lot of people don't like this hourly rate method, but to me it makes the most sense. Like, it's the most comprehensive way to figure out your pricing to begin with, and at least to figure out a good starting rate, or just figure out a good ballpark of what you want to be charging. This is a good way to get started. So for example, maybe that same package that we just talked about that took me 7 hours a week, there are 4 weeks in a month, so multiply that by 4, that's 28 hours per month that I'm working on that one project. Say you want to make, I don't know, $40 an hour as a freelancer. People charge like maybe $25 to $100 an hour as a freelancer starting out, but it's really just up to you and however much you want to charge. I can't tell you how much to charge, because it's really just up to you and how much people are willing to pay. But that would be $40 times 28, which is $1,120. So that would be like your monthly rate for that one project. That's just an example. Like I said, we did not factor in anything besides the content creation and scheduling, but maybe if you included way more things in the package or other platforms as well, not just Instagram, your package would end up being a lot more. But that's just one way to figure out kind of a ballpark of what you want your rates to be. And that's a way to figure out how much you should be making every month and every year. So you already created your revenue goal. You want to make X amount a month. You want to make X amount a year. Now that you've done the math and you kind of have a little ballpark or idea of what your time is worth and what you want to be charging, now you know how many clients you need to get this month to reach your goal. So that's how I would do it if I were just starting out. Let's see. Okay, cool. You can also customize additional charges. Like I said, you can kind of list these as add-ons, and then the way I like to justify the cost for my add-ons is just because of the additional value you're adding to the company. So maybe engagement is an add-on for you, maybe user-generated content is an add-on. If you're creating content and you're the face of somebody else's brand and they're using your image and your likeness for their content, and you're saving them that time and energy because they're not the ones having to create that content, you should definitely be charging for that, and there should be an additional rate, you know? You shouldn't just like take on somebody's entire TikTok and be the face of their brand and not charge an add-on for being the face of their brand. Like, that's kind of a big deal. So definitely consider all those things when you're creating your packages and your add-ons and whatnot. Let's see. You also want to consider if the service that you're offering is generating leads and conversions for the company. I talked about asking these companies what their annual revenue is. And that's because they should be transparent about that with you as their social media marketing person, just because your goal is to get a return on investment for these companies, and your goal is to generate leads for them if that's what the main KPI is. Or maybe your goal is to get conversions, or whatever their goals are. If their goal is related to like the number of sales they're getting, or the amount of money they're making, or the amount of leads they're getting, you should have that information. Some people like to add commission based off of like the success of whatever they're doing on social media. I don't do that, but you could. It's up to you. But yeah, when it comes to your add-ons, when it comes to a commission or anything like that, you want to consider, is your service actually generating leads for this client? Am I getting them sales like as a direct result of your marketing efforts? Also, you want to keep in mind that businesses are not one size fits all. So it's best to customize your proposals just depending on specific needs. I also like to set a benchmark in my head and know a ballpark. So when people ask me what my rates are, I don't tell them like, I don't send them a package. Like, I don't send them like, these are my packages, because I customize my proposals for each client. But you should at least have a ballpark in your head of what you charge, and know that there's a certain price threshold that you don't want to go beneath based off that revenue goal, based off your bandwidth, like we talked about. And then when people ask you, what are your rates or what do your packages look like, just tell them, oh, we start at X amount a month. All right, moving on. I think that is it for our content for today. So drop in the comments, you guys. Let me know one thing that you've learned so far. What is your number one takeaway from this workshop? Do you feel like you know more about pitching yourself as a social media manager? Let me know. I'm going to check in the comments or checking the chat. Do you feel like your confidence level has increased since before we started today? Let me know where you're at and how you feel. OMG, I need to up prices. Now I feel like I charge just a little. Yeah, that's definitely how I felt when I first started my business too. Like, I was a college student and I was just trying to make a little extra money every month. But then I realized like, oh, I'm actually generating results for these businesses. I should be getting paid for this. So that's what made me realize I really needed to take myself seriously as a business owner. When you take yourself seriously, then your clients will take you seriously too. So when you don't budge on what your rates are and how much you charge, and you're confident about that, then, and you show up as a professional, people will treat you that way. Yes, I think this was a great webinar. Awesome. So glad this was helpful. Cool. Okay, so moving on. I just want to let you guys know my one goal for today is just that you get some value out of this, even if it's just one thing that you learn, one takeaway. I just want to make you feel better prepared in this business, and I want you to feel like you're leaving with these tools feeling more confident and feeling like you learned something new. So hopefully you took some notes from this and you have that PDF downloadable that you can use in the future when you're doing your marketing and working with new clients. All right. Next, I want to get into this little commercial break before we get into our Q&A. I'm going to open it up for questions at the end. But I do briefly want to go over this coaching program so that you guys are really clear on what it is and also what it will help you do. So if you are someone that learned something new from this workshop today, this is going to take it up a whole nother notch because you're going to get hands-on, face-to-face training sessions with me. It's a 3-month program. We're going to be working together for 90 days and the calls are weekly. And I know that when we're initially starting a business, we can all feel a little bit of imposter syndrome. And this is just going to help instill so much confidence in you. More importantly, you're going to feel so confident in your own abilities as a business owner. We're going to be going over mindset and overcoming imposter syndrome. We're going to talk about choosing your niche. We're going to go over refining your services, like we talked about a little bit today, how important it is to be specific about what services you're offering based on your skill set. We're going to go into pricing even more. I'm going to walk you guys through how to onboard new clients. We're going to go over all types of skill building as it pertains to content creation and whatever other services you might be offering to your clients. I'm going to tailor this for whoever is in the program. So whatever questions you have for me, every session is going to be like a Q&A where I'm coaching you guys through the process as you're walking through building your businesses. Let's see. Let me move this so you can read what's on the screen. But yeah, these are all things we're going to be diving into in our weekly live sessions throughout the next 3 months. And I'm going to be walking you guys through everything so you don't feel blindsided. You don't feel in the dark as you're trying to scale your business. You don't have to feel like you're doing it alone. And you're also going to just have actionable steps to take after each session, like sort of homework. To work on your business while you're still in the program and getting equipped with all the tools that you need to implement what we've been talking about in each training. Also, it's going to be fun because we have a Facebook group, so it's going to be interactive and you're going to have the opportunity to ask questions and engage with people in the community throughout the program. So if you do have any questions on the days that we don't have a session, your questions can be answered there. And it also is just like a community of support and accountability so that you know you're not the only one. You're not facing this alone. I just remember when I was starting my business, I felt so isolated and frustrated at first. And just having people around me that were going through something similar just would have been so helpful. And that's why I wanted to have help starting my business. I didn't want to do it on my own, and I needed people on my team because I felt it was just such a struggle trying to work through it on my own. And it can be really scary when you feel like, you don't have guidance and you don't have someone doing it with you. But I just want you guys to know that you can do it yourself. I am living proof, and you can have the confidence to start your own business. It does not matter how old you are. And life is just so much better with accountability, which is why I wanted to make this a group program and not one-on-one, because sometimes it just helps knowing that, you're not the only one facing these things. So we're going to make sure you don't feel that way, and you're going to have a support system. You're going to have a community of other social media managers right there with you. And if you are going to be busy these next couple months, you can also watch the trainings on your own time after our live sessions. So if you can't make it to one of our weekly training calls, that's okay, because you will have access to watch that on your own time. So you don't have to worry about that. And then you can also just freshen up on that information at your own convenience, and you'll have access to all the trainings and videos after the program as well. So you'll be able to take all of that with you. Additionally, you're going to be getting templates for pretty much everything when it comes to building your business. We talked about portfolios today. We talked about having case studies. We talked about having testimonials. But even more importantly, you're going to get lead generation templates. You're going to get lead follow-up templates. So you're going to know exactly what to say. You're going to get client onboarding email templates, because every efficient social media manager needs an onboarding process. And this is going to save you so much time, because eventually as you scale your business, you're not going to be the only one in your business. You might have team members that are taking on the onboarding process for you. And if you have a seamless process and you have a standard operating procedure and templates for everything, then your life is going to be so much easier. So these templates are going to be super helpful for you. These are things that I use on a daily basis in my business. I wanted to include something that every social media manager is going to need and things that you're actually going to use regularly so that you don't have to start your business from scratch. You kind of have a blueprint and a roadmap to follow. You're going to get a social media strategy template. You're going to have pricing and proposal templates so that you have something that's like visual and pretty and customizable to send to each potential client. Portfolio templates, case study templates, and more. So this entire 3-month program is a value of a lot of money because you're getting all these templates. And like I said, it's all like done for you. You have a blueprint, you have this whole process set up for you. And I'm going to be coaching you on a weekly basis for 90 days. But this enrollment fee in total is only $899. And you're going to be getting all the value and all the information that took me 3 years to struggle through and kind of figure out on my own just for that amount. And you're going to be making so much more money in your businesses than $899. This is going to be a really big investment for a lot of you, but it's also going to give you a huge return on your investment. And for everyone who's here, for you guys who decided to take the time out of your evening to join this workshop, I'm actually going to be bringing the cost down to $649, which was our early bird enrollment fee that a lot of people already got. But if you're here today and you're, spending this time on your Friday evening, I know that this was, a big investment to come here and, get all this information. And obviously you really care about your business and you care about your success. And so I want you guys to be able to have this exclusive invite. It's going to be $649. If you're watching on the webinar page on my website, you can just scroll to the very bottom to get that deal. And it's going to be open for only this weekend. And you are going to be saving about $250 just this weekend. So I also want to give you guys the chance to all be a part of this. So if you're not able to pay the $649 in total today, that's fine. I'm going to give everyone access to a payment plan as well. So only this weekend, if you sign up for the program, you're going to get the $649 program. So that's a $250 discount as well as a 50-50 payment plan. So you only have to pay 50% upfront and then the remaining 50% would be due before the start of the program, which is May 9th. So that is our exclusive invite. You guys have this weekend until Sunday at midnight to take advantage of that. In the meantime, if you have any questions for me regarding anything we talked about today or the program itself, feel free to reach out. You all have my email. And there's also a link on my website to book a call with me. I'm more than happy to jump on a call with you guys and talk about any questions that you might still have before you make this investment. But like I said, I want you guys to feel supported and I want you to feel like you aren't in this alone at the end of the day. Any way I can help you, I want to do that. And you guys are going to have someone right there with you who's been through all the ups and downs of starting a business and doing it from scratch. Like I said, this information, it took me years to figure out on my own. So I'm 100% convinced that you guys are going to feel supported and you're going to be able to kill it as a freelancer if you implement the things that you're going to be learning, the things you learned today in this workshop and also the things that you're going to be learning in this program. So I have full confidence in all of you if you're willing to apply yourself and invest in yourself for these next 3 months. I did it. I feel like if I did it, anyone can do it. You don't need prior education. You don't need any background. It's literally social media. Anybody could do it. And I'm just confident that if you have the confidence to invest in yourself and you have the confidence to put yourself out there and implement the things that you're going to learn, then you're going to succeed. So you get out of this what you put in, but I'm convinced that if you guys actually apply yourselves and you put in the work, you're going to see the results. So if you just scroll to the bottom of this page, you can go ahead and enroll there. And if you have any questions, you have my contact info. You have everything you need to reach out to me. So I will be here. All right. So we have reached the end of this workshop. I'm so happy. I'm thankful that you guys are all able to join. I'm going to open it up for questions now. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to jump in the chat. It could be about anything we talked about today. It could be about the program, whatever. How do you negotiate if you priced? How do you negotiate if you priced? Did you mean to say price low early? How do you negotiate if you price low early? I'm confused. How do you customize your rates for each client? Is this right after the discovery call? Good question. So what I do when I'm on the discovery call with the client, I tell them that I'm going to take all the information we spoke about today and I'm going to deliver a proposal for them. I'm going to customize a proposal based on what we spoke about in the call. And I told them I'm going to turn that around in 1 to 2 days and they'll have a chance to review it. Or if you want to talk about it on the call with them, you can say, I'm going to send you a link to book your proposal call. Book that call right now, and then I will break down the proposal for you. And we can talk about it then. Just depends on how you want to do it. But I make my proposals after the discovery call. Can I just be a social media manager that only edits content for YouTubers, content creators? How can I show proof I know how to edit? Good question. You can absolutely offer whatever services you want as a social media manager. It's your business. You can, do it however you want. I think that's a great idea, and it's what a lot of people do, like just editing content. I maybe wouldn't call my business or my service itself social media management because it might be a little confusing or misleading to the people who you're trying to market to. So I would find a different way to reword that. But yeah, that can absolutely be a service that you offer. Editing content for YouTubers and content creators, that's going to be valuable for a lot of people because people don't want to sit around and edit for hours. And I would know because I don't want to do that. But you can definitely show proof that you know how to edit by coming up with a portfolio for the content that you've done. And it doesn't even have to be clients you've worked with. It can just be work you've edited in the past for yourself, or just content that you've made using household items. Just whatever content you have, whatever you've done in the past, use that as your portfolio. So maybe have a link or create some sort of website or landing page with some examples of the work that you've done before. And you can embed that into a website, or you can just provide links. You can do it however you want. In my program, like I said, I do have a portfolio template, so you can use that too. But you can showcase that however you want. Canva is a great way to build portfolios and send that to potential clients. I want to answer this question. How do you negotiate if you price low already? I think that's what you meant, low. I do negotiate my prices with potential clients, but if you already told them a rate that, if you already told them I'm going to be giving you this offer for $1,000 a month, and you already told them that, then I wouldn't go back on your word. But I don't know if that's what you meant. I really hope I'm answering your question. You can always increase your prices, and I think I do know what you're talking about. One moment, let me put my computer on the charger. I'm just gonna plug it in really quick. But I think I do know what you're talking about. So in the past, I worked with a client, and I started working with them when I was beginning as a social media manager, but I wanted to increase my rates with them because it was a lot of work, and I realized that I should be charging way more than what I was currently charging. And so I needed to increase my rates, and I needed to change their package. It is totally okay to do that. And they should understand that as your business grows, your rates are going to increase and you're going to grow as well. If they don't understand that, maybe they're not a good fit for you. But you should always justify your rates by just explaining the value of what you're offering. I might offer planning their content for them too. Definitely, that's a great idea. Social media strategy is a great one-off service to provide for your clients. Planning and scheduling is a great thing to offer as well. But social media strategy itself and coming up with content ideas, coming up with content topics, and being that kind of creative mind behind the content that they're sharing, people really find a lot of value in that. Do you recommend cold emailing? I know 2 businesses I want to work with. I mean, why not? Give it a shot. I don't do that, and I haven't done it in the past. I've done it with DMs. I've done cold DMs. I actually do have a template for sending out cold DMs. I think one for cold emails too. But yeah, give it a shot. Something that I always like to say is it's not a no until they tell you no. So if I'm following up with a client that didn't respond to me and they completely ghosted me, I'm going to keep following up until you tell me no, because you didn't say no. So yes, thank you. That makes sense. I'm glad. Any other questions? Always just keep following up. Never be afraid to promote your services and put yourself out there. I get a ton of emails all the time from people cold emailing me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like, some people will send me emails about like their virtual assistant services, and I'll actually go through the website and look at their portfolios and stuff and read their resume. People send me cold emails from TikTok all the time as well, about all sorts of stuff. So cold emailing works. It just kind of depends. But you're going to get a million no's before you get a yes. You're going to get so many no's, but once you do get a yes, it's going to be so worth it. Will this webinar be saved? Yes, it will. You guys can watch it on replay and on my YouTube channel as well. How do I start a IG for editing content? If you don't already have an Instagram page, what I would do is just set up like content editing, I guess maybe like some sort of like social media management page, and then explain what you do in the bio. Put a link to your portfolio, put a link to your website, or whatever the case may be, and then the content that you might share. Come up with a content strategy that showcases what you're good at. Make content for the people that you want to work with. So like, if you want to target beauty YouTubers, share a bunch of reels of you editing beauty content, or beauty products, or like makeup routines, whatnot. Or maybe you can even offer to work with different influencers or UGC creators and edit their content just to start building your portfolio, at least so you have something to show for. I used to do free stuff all the time before I started my business to just get some experience. What is your advice for creating a name for your agency? It's up to you. The name of my business, Vine and Branch Media, that I got it from John 15:5 in the Bible, which is, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in you will bear much fruit. And I wanted to make my business about like being fruitful and helping other companies become fruitful and bear fruit. So that's why I named my company Vine and Branch. It was also the name of my stationery business before I even started my marketing agency. And I just used the same branding. So it's up to you. Make it your own. Do something unique and fun. You can do it with your name in it. You can make it something completely different. It is up to you. I'm going to take one more question if we have any more. If not, I'm going to give it a couple seconds. But if you guys don't have any more questions, that's going to be it for our time together today. I feel like we did really good on time. That was like an hour almost, an hour, 10 minutes. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for all joining. I was really not expecting to have like this good of a turnout, but I'm really happy that you guys were all able to join, and I hope that you gained some value from our time together today. I hope you learned at least one new thing. And if you did enjoy this, I would really appreciate it if you guys let me know. Let me know in my DMs on Instagram or TikTok or wherever you found me. And let me know if this was helpful for you or anything that you might have learned during this workshop today. If you guys just copy the link to my website, you'll have all the information for the upcoming group coaching program. Don't forget, you have until Friday or Sunday at midnight to sign up for that with the early bird pricing still before it goes back up to its normal rate. So you guys want to make sure you hop on that soon. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your Friday. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this and found this valuable. And I definitely want to do more of these in the future. So stay tuned. Follow me on social media if you don't already, so that you're up to date on anything that I want to host in the future. But I just want to say thank you guys. I really appreciate you all for coming. Feel free to reach out if you have any additional questions for me. And I hope to see you in a couple weeks for the program. Bye guys. Have a good weekend.